First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello and welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler and we are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. So thanks for joining us here today, whatever platform you're watching on. Right now, we are talking about something, well, it's pretty important if you live in the state of Oregon. I'm talking about beavers, not just the Oregon State beavers, the animal, and just how important they are here for the Northwest and our natural habitats, and some organizations, well, an organization in particular that is working to help rehabilitate, restore some of the habitat, but also understand the effects that beavers have on our habitats, on our landscapes, and just how important they are. And so there's a lot that I just covered right there, and the person joining us is going to do that a lot better than me. We've got Dr. Maureen here who's joining us. Maureen, thank you for being here, and from Beaver Works. And I was hoping maybe you could start off just by telling us, about your organization and just everything that you do.
Happy to. Thanks so much for having me. Think Wild is a nonprofit here in Central Oregon that works to support high desert wildlife and to connect people with meaningful ways to support them. And so the Beaver Works program is all about beavers. And so we do habitat restoration to support beavers' natural return to a lot of the places where they used to live historically and don't live now. And we do a lot of education about what beavers do as a keystone species. And we just started a citizen science program, community engaged beaver research and monitoring, where we surveyed hundreds of stream reaches across Malheur National Forest to understand the beaver occupancy, historic opportunities for beavers, current opportunities for beavers, and to engage people, in connecting with our state mammal, like the keystone species for all of North America. There's just so much we don't understand about their basic ecology and what they need to live. And so this is really working to address that data gap and to share this data with our partners who really want to be able to manage Forest Service lands for beavers and just don't have capacity and don't have historic understanding of beavers, because they've really just been recognized as a wildlife species in the last couple of years.
Wow, really? They've just been recognized in the last couple of years?
Yes, isn't that wild? Like, they are on the state flag, but they were considered a nuisance species until a law passed in 2023 and was enacted in 2024. And now there's all this research showing like beavers do so much to mitigate all of these climate problems that we have, and create wildfire breaks and support species that we want to protect. And so people are really interested in now supporting beavers so they can, return those manifold benefits to us. But we just don't really understand enough about their ecology and their populations to do that. And so that's what this work really works to do, is to address that data gap and to understand like their habitat needs, and not just sort of in an extractive way to understand like where they can dam and where we can harness that potential, but where we can provide things for them that would allow them to thrive as a population.
When you talk about the beaver population, I guess previously, what were some of the reasons for the decline or for their absence in some of these areas that you were studying or that you have studied where you want to restore them?
Well, the big historic reason was hats. Of course, people explored North America for trapping, and so that way they could make products out of beavers and trap them. So that was like a big population decline. And then just general competition with humans, lack of human tolerance. We like, controlled riverways. We want water for agriculture. Just increased human settlement leads to, conflicts and lack of habitat for a lot of wildlife, including beavers. So some of the sort of lags from that would be a lack of suitable habitat now. They have this iterative relationship with willows, and so a lot of riparian areas, so streams and rivers, just don't have the type of shade and deep water and food and building material that beavers would need to live somewhere. So those are sort of a suite of the reasons that impact beavers' population success in Oregon and in Central Oregon specifically.
And when you get into the idea of restoring some of that habitat, potentially of bringing beavers back, what are some of the different ways that we would be able to do that? And what are some of the benefits that maybe the communities of people in those areas would notice?
Oh my gosh. Well, so many benefits to people. A lot of agricultural producers, we have like late summer water shortages. and a lack of green vegetation for cattle. So that's one thing that a lot of like Idaho and Eastern Oregon ranchers have noticed is that beaver dam analogs or getting a beaver attracted back to your property has those benefits. To me, as someone who cares about endangered species, they do so much to uplift all the species we want to protect. If you care about frogs or fish or woodpeckers, like truly any type of taxa, rare plants, there's usually a positive association with beaver managed habitat. So yeah, those are some of the great reasons to want beavers to do well in the same state we share with them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously some pretty good reasons right there. Yeah, for sure. And now when it comes to that study that you did, I mean, this is a really big study that you're talking about, and I didn't want to just gloss over that. Can you tell us, how this came about and how many people were involved with this?
Yes, I actually was so surprised when I was drawing a polygon over the area that we surveyed. I was like, wow, this is actually bigger than Rhode Island. And because Oregon is so big, it is easy to sort of gloss over large stretches. But I was looking for a way to incorporate meaningful community science into our restoration program. And so I was looking into a lot of other community science programs to see if we could model their same methods so that way the data would be more meaningful at a large scale. And I didn't find anything like that, but I did find that there was a protocol being used by national forests and other agency land managers to collect beaver sign data, so basically evidence of beavers having lived somewhere historically or currently. And so I connected with other national forest land managers and Vanessa Petro, who was a researcher who developed this protocol and implemented its use across the state to see if we could be the only, I think, community science organizers that were contributing to this data set. And so we connected with Malheur National Forest, and they were really keen to have this data. They don't have capacity to do it, so it was just a win-win. And so we had all those partners. We had 2 dedicated interns who spent 4 weeks of the fall hiking and climbing around, getting to all of these sites, and we had 10 volunteers come out and join us. And in total, it was like over 1,000 hours of human effort put towards this. And so it was like a stone soup situation, everyone contributing to make it the meaningful and large scale project that it was.
I mean, that's amazing to have all those people working and collecting all of that data. It also sounds like it was probably fun. I mean, that's a beautiful area.
Super fun.
To be out in. If you like the wilderness, that's fantastic. Now, with all of the data and everything that you've collected here, and now understanding, how that's working there, is this something that you can take and be utilized, or can this data help out other areas as well with their restoration?
Absolutely. So it's useful, directly to the Malheur National Forest folks to plan habitat restoration in areas where, potentially beaver could migrate to, and areas that have potential but aren't occupied currently. And so, that's a really direct route. And also because we use this state synchronized protocol, it means that we can understand what's going on for beavers as a population at like politically and biologically meaningful scales. And also I hope that it could serve as a model for other community science programs that don't exist yet, just to see that having sort of this pipeline towards the data having like a meaningful impact and actually attracting people from all over the state and even out of state to come do it is successful. And yeah, we hope to continue doing this for many years. So basically the results can be more meaningful to see if we see, change over time across all of these snapshots.
Have you actually introduced any beavers in there or made it easier for them to maybe, expand their range?
No, beaver reintroduction is pretty rare in Oregon, partly because the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife recognizes some of the things that we have just talked about, which is that it's habitat and human tolerance that can be the limiting factors. And so there's just a pretty low success rate for translocations. And so this really, if the law changed, then surely that could be useful. But in this case, it's really useful for national forest folks to understand what areas to prioritize for habitat restoration. So basically areas that were modeled as potential beaver habitat, but are not occupied, but have a lot of the features that beavers would like to see in a potential new home.
Gotcha. And for you, what do you think is the most important thing that people in this state and even beyond should know about beavers? That's kind of a limited question.
Something different, like for me, what I really liked about this project was that we are understanding beavers as a species and not just sort of in this extractive, human lens of where can they build dams that would hold water for us, but like what do they need and how can we provide that? And just traveling by walking up a stream to experience the world the way a beaver experiences it was super fun, and just seeing other people sort of turn on this like beaver lens as they engaged in the project was one of the most rewarding things about this fall.
That's fantastic. Well, for everybody out there who wants to learn more about the study and just all the work that you do as well with Beaver Works and Think Wild, what's the best place for them to do that?
Ooh, they could find us on social media, on our website. And anywhere you like to go looking for information.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here to talk about this and just all the work that you did. I mean, I think it's fascinating and really interesting. Such a poignant thing too for the Pacific Northwest. We're the beaver state. I mean, this is really, this is great. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate your time and being here on Fox 12 Now.
Thanks so much for having me, Greg.
This is fun. And for everybody watching too, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We are live streaming across our platforms. We're going to go ahead and sign off for right now. There's breaking news between now and 4 p.m. I'll be back here for that. We, of course, have our 4 p.m. news coming up. You'll see coverage of, I know it's been a lot of beaver talk today, different kinds of beavers, but we did talk about the Oregon State University Beavers and their new head coach. So we have plenty of coverage of that as well. But thanks for being here. And again, we'll be here at 1 p.m. tomorrow, at 11 a.m. tomorrow also for Good Day Oregon Plus. And if there's anything that happens between now and 4 p.m., I'll be right back. But thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.